everybody, welcome to our session for today. Our session is on general English, and today we're going to be learning how to tell interesting anecdotes. So, let's start. We're going to start by checking our objectives for this lesson. So, the first objective is telling engaging anecdotes. The second objective is getting familiar with the use of simple past and present perfect. And as a third objective, we've got using our strategy to expand and structure your anecdotes. So, in order to tell engaging and really interesting anecdotes, we need to use the simple past and the present perfect together. And of course, the strategy is going to be very useful for this lesson because it's going to help us to structure the anecdote in our mind in order to tell it in a very interesting and engaging way. So, let's start. First, we're going to check this super short article. In this article, we are going to learn about all the things that Sue has done in her life. What I want you to do is this. First, you're going to take a screenshot of this slide and second, we're going to get into breakout rooms. In breakout rooms, one person is going to share the screen and you all are going to take turns to read aloud each one of the paragraphs of this super short article. Once you have read the article, I want you to discuss these three questions that I've got. The first question is, what is the difference between simple past and present perfect? The second question is, what is the structure of each one? And the third question is, what is the purpose of using both tenses together? Okay? So remember, first, gather in groups. Second, share the screen. Third, take turns to read the article aloud. And fourth, discuss the questions that you've got. Once you have done this, I'm going to give you 4 minutes, 5 minutes to do it. And once you have done it, we're going to get back to the main session and we're going to socialize our answers, okay? So let's do it. Here we go. Okay, welcome back, guys. Very good. So we're going to check the answers. We're going to identify if your answers during the conversation that you had in breakout rooms were correct or if you were quite close. So we're going to start by identifying the use of the simple past and the present perfect. So first, we use the simple past to talk about finished actions in the past, things that happened before and that even when they were important for us, they finished in the past. So, in our article, Sue said, I ran a race in London. I ran a race in London. This is a sentence in simple past because she's describing something that she did before, but she's not doing in this moment or she's not planning to do soon. So this is an action that happened in the past. It is a finished action. This is an affirmative sentence. I ran a race in London. So the structure of a sentence in simple past, of an affirmative sentence in simple past, is first the subject, I, then we're going to use the verb in simple past form, I ran, and then we're going to have the complement, a race in London. Okay? So that is the structure of the affirmative sentence in simple past. How about the negative sentence in simple past? Let's suppose that we want to say that I didn't run a marathon. Okay, so when I want to create sentences in simple past in negative form, I'm going to use the auxiliary did. And we are going to use the auxiliary did after the subject. So we are going to have subject, I, auxiliary did not, because it's a negative sentence, or didn't. And look what happens to the verb. The verb is in present. Okay? So in the negative sentences, in simple past, the main verb of the sentence goes in present form, in base form. Why? Because the did is already the mark that we've got of the past tense. So if we want to create a sentence in simple past, a negative sentence, we use the auxiliary did and the verb goes in present. For example, I didn't run a marathon. When it comes to questions, we're going to change the order of the words. So first, I'm going to use the auxiliary, then I'm going to put the subject, and after that, I'm going to put the verb in base form again. So, did I run a marathon? That is our sentence in simple past, our question in simple past. So, remember, the simple past is used to describe actions that happened in the past and finished in the past. Okay? Yet, how about the present perfect? Well, when we use the present perfect, we are not describing actions that happened in the past and finished in the past. On the other hand, we use it to connect past actions to the present. In the article that we read, she said, I have run on a marathon. Ah, so when did she do it? We're not completely sure, but we know that this action, even though when this happened in the past, it is still important for her. That's why she's saying, I have run a marathon. So, what is the structure of a sentence in present perfect? An affirmative sentence in present perfect has the following structure. It has first the subject, and after the subject, I'm going to have. But have in here is not a verb. In this case, have is an auxiliary. Okay? And then I'm going to have the verb in the third column, the participle form of the verb. I have run in a marathon. So, this is an affirmative sentence. I have run on a marathon. Present perfect affirmative sentence. If I want to create a sentence in negative form in the present perfect, I'm going to add not after the auxiliary. So I'm going to say, I haven't run in a marathon. Okay? I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to add not after the auxiliary. And finally, when I want to create questions in present perfect, I'm going to change the order of the words. So first, I'm going to put the auxiliary have. After that, I'm going to put my subject and then the verb in the participle form, and after that, the complement. Have I run in a marathon? That would be the question. Good. Very good, guys. So remember, we've got simple past to describe finished actions in the past. In present perfect, it is to connect actions that happened in the past to connect them with the present. But how do we use these two tenses together in order to tell interesting and engaging anecdotes? Well, very easy. I have this example for you. I have been to London. I visited the city 2 years ago because I went to my sister's wedding. She got married in summer, so we had a lovely time in the city. We visited the museums and the touristic places. It was amazing. This is a way to describe an engaging anecdote. This is a very useful way to do it. So, as you can see, we started the anecdote in the present perfect because I'm connecting something that happened in the past with the present. And then all the information that happened in the trip, I'm going to tell it in simple past. Okay? So, taking this as an example, guys, we are going to mechanize and practice the grammar. How are we going to do it? Well, very, very easy. We're going to get into this link, and this link has different boxes. Your task is this. We're going to gather in breakout rooms first, and one person is going to share the screen. You're going to click on each one of the boxes. And in here, you are going to have some sentences that you need to complete with the words in brackets. Okay? So, Steve, and it says the present yet. You are going to decide if the best way to complete this sentence is using the simple past form or using the present perfect form if these actions are finished or if these actions are are connected into the present. Okay, so let's do it. In order to do this exercise, guys, you're going to have 5 minutes. So let's get into breakout rooms and let's do it. Here we go. Okay, guys, very good. Now that we have mechanized the grammar of the simple past and the present perfect, it is time for us to start using both tenses together to describe our anecdotes. In order to do that, we are going to learn a very useful strategy that it's called the Oreo strategy. This is very, very useful because it is going to help us to structure much better in our mind what we want to say. And once we can structure that in our mind, we can identify how to say it if we use the simple past or the present perfect. So, what does Oreo stands for? Well, Oreo stands for O for opinion, R, reason, E, example, and O again, opinion again. So, in the previous example that we shared, I showed you how to structure, how to mix simple past and present perfect. We're going to use the same example to identify the structure of the Oreo strategy. So let's suppose that the question that we've got is, have you ever been to London? And I'm going to answer, yes, I have been to London. That would be the opinion. I visited this city 2 years ago because I went to my sister's wedding. That would be the reason why I visited to London. And as you can see, it is in simple past. Then we've got the example. She got married on summer, so we had a lovely time in the city. We visited the museums and the touristic places. Once again, this example is in simple past. And finally, we've got the O again as in opinion. We're closing up the opinion. So I say it was amazing. So what I want you to do is this. I want you to think about how to implement Oreo when you are speaking. Okay? It is time for us to practice. We're going to put into practice the strategy and the simple past and the present perfect tenses. So, we're going to tell our anecdotes. Remember, you can organize your ideas in your mind using Oreo in order to answer properly, in order to tell a very nice story, a very nice anecdote connected to the following situations. So, I have 5 questions in here. First one, have you ever broken a bone? Second one, have you ever been in a concert of your favorite artist? Third one, have you ever seen a diamond in the flesh? In this case, in the flesh means in real life, like in person. Number four, have you ever seen a ghost? Number five, have you ever posted a video online? I want you to think about your answers to these anecdotes. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to structure your answers using Oreo. And then we're going to get into breakout rooms and we are going to share our stories, our anecdotes connected to these topics. Okay? So, are you ready? We're going to get into breakout rooms, and then I'm going to give you 6 minutes in order for you to ask to your classmate one of the questions and for your classmate to answer the question using Oreo, simple present, and present perfect. Okay? So, let's do it, guys. You've got 5 minutes. Here we go. Okay, welcome back, guys, to the main session. I was listening to you in breakout rooms and you were doing an excellent job. Congratulations. Well done. Very good. You are learning how to use the ORI strategy to structure your answers. And of course, you're using simple past and present perfect to tell your anecdotes. That's amazing. Very good. Congratulations. Now, guys, it is time for us to assess these lesson. So, how are we going to assess this lesson? Well, we're going to have self-assessment today. Self-assessment, of course, it's that you are going to assess, you're going to reflect on your performance during the session based on the three questions that I've got for you. The first one is, did I learn the difference between simple past and present perfect? Think about it. You can say yes, no, so, I still have questions. Okay. Number two, did I apply both tenses to describe anecdotes? Or maybe you just feel you feel that you just used simple past, or maybe you only used present perfect. So did you apply both tenses? And number three, did I use Oreo to structure and expand my anecdotes? So I want you to have this little discussion in breakout rooms. Remember, it is based on your own performance. This is self-assessment. Okay? Let's do it. Some minutes for you to reflect upon your exercise. Here we go. Okay, guys. So, very good. Well done. Once we have reflected upon the exercise that we have done, it's still time to think about what actions can we take in order to improve our performance. So, for example, some of you mentioned things connected to verbs. So, we need to practice verbs, irregular verbs in present, past, and participle form in order to create good sentences in the present perfect. Other people mentioned the use of the auxiliaries. Yes, we've got the auxiliary did for the simple past and the auxiliary have in the present perfect. So you need to use them only in negative sentences and in questions. And I listened to some other people talking about the main verb in the simple past questions, in the simple past questions and negative sentences. Yes, that's correct. That it's something to pay attention to because remember that in those cases the verb goes in present. Good. Very good. So guys, thank you very much for your time today. I hope you have enjoyed this session in which we learned how to describe and how to tell interesting and engaging anecdotes. Remember that we also learned the difference between the simple past and the present perfect and how to use them together in order to tell anecdotes. And we used the strategy Oreo in order to create solid answers. So thank you very much for your time. I'll see you next time. Bye bye, everybody.